Hello and welcome to Arsenal Above All. I was going to call this a Champions Edition, but I think a lot of people have done that already. So this is obviously the Champions League preview. I've got the Arsenal Oracle, Brenny, K74. How you doing, Brenny?
Yeah, I'm good. It's been a really good week, you know. I mean, it's been a really good week. It's just been, it's been relaxing. The game on Sunday before the trophy lift, that was the most relaxing game I'd seen in ages. And, you know what I mean? It was just a comfortable watch along with my guy, Bobby, on Takeover. So relaxing, man. Even when we conceded that goal, it was like, I just said, oh, well.
Whatever, isn't it? Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah. But then it was great. And Monday it was barbecue, Arsenal party barbecue. Big up to Guna Debbie. You all would have seen her around TV. She's just legendary, man. Long time Arsenal fan, and all the best to her going to Budapest. And it's just been a great week. It's just well, it works with good. Everyone's smiling. I'm getting banter from Tottenham fans. I'm thinking, how dare you? You know what I mean? Do you really want me to go there? You know what I mean?
No, we'll get into that with some of the nonsense that's come out. But thanks for joining us tonight. And obviously, you've got Mac. He's not sent one of his traveling vlogs. He's not infiltrated Madrid like he did last season. He didn't need to do that. But Mac, you're with us tonight. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. And just like Brenny's saying, it's just a good vibe time. Just lapping it all up, really.
Oh, good stuff. And I've also somehow, it is half term, and I've got some Arsenal hooligans with me here tonight. Are you going to come in and say hello, or what's going on? Oh,
Champion!
Big up.
That's right. Well done, kids.
Oh, big up.
Champion!
Okay, all right. It's half term. Okay, that's it. Go on, clear off. Go to bed. Go to bed. All right. So sorry about that interruptions.
That was great.
I'm just going to throw the intro on. Give me some time to get them to bed and get them sorted out. So we'll be back just after this. That's them sorted out. Welcome to the show. Welcome, gents. How you doing? Really good to see you. Thanks for everyone that's joining us tonight. It's been as you said, Brenny, an amazing couple of days as an Arsenal fan. Brian, Brian. Evening to you.
Yes,
Dan as well. Great. Top Gooner. How you doing? Dan as well. Evening, guys. What should we do Saturday? Go on then. Let's try for another trophy. Absolutely, 100%. Champions League panel assembled. Yeah, cheers, Brian. Football. What do you think winning? What do you think? Who do you think is winning the UFC? Yeah. We'll have predictions later on, and we'll see how that goes. Brian, Junior's revived. And yeah, James, I hope you're doing well, mate. Thanks for that as well.
Oh, big up, James.
Yeah, thanks for everyone joining tonight. Let's get into it. So, obviously, we had a bit of a party, didn't we? On Sunday, and it was obviously our 14th title, and obviously we've got the gold one in there, which is nice. But a very special day that we all were kind of hoping and praying that we were going to see it before we left this mortal coil, but we definitely did after a few close near misses, I should say. But an amazing Sunday, as you earlier mentioned earlier, Brenny. We weren't too worried about the actual result. I kind of wanted us to carry it, get the win and finish properly. But what was your thoughts on just how this, as you mentioned earlier, how this kind of week's gone, how everything's kind of transpired with the celebrations and just what it means with so many narratives, isn't there? There's so many layers with, Bukayo Saka being there from the beginning. He reenacting that Twitter post he did all those years ago about Arsenal fans deserving more, and just the way people maybe talk about Mikel Arteta now, obviously after him landing a major trophy. But what were your just thoughts on just what's transpired these last few days as an Arsenal fan?
I mean, for me, I suppose you see, me and you, we're all more or less the same age, and like when we first became fans, there wasn't that success, and you know what I mean, and it was how can I say it was a feeling that I felt a little different in terms of after 22 years, because I think when we were younger we was used to winning titles, and we'd only seen 5 titles previously, compared to 6. But for me it was one of them titles where it was the first time ever I've seen us win a title where we haven't always been dynamic. It would have been nice if we had to, but you know what? That's all academic now because we've got over the line. I've seen maturity with some players. I've seen more experience. I've seen experience come through a number of these games this season in the league. I've seen the manager change things a little bit, and he had to. And when you look at it now, there was certain things he had to do, and he was scared to do. And I think also because from what we knew from Bobby and a few others, his job was on the line, and it's like, and for him it was a case of no matter how I've got to to try something different. Maybe I think with Arteta, maybe it was a case of if we played the attacking football we did 2-3 years ago, 3 seasons ago, sorry. Who knows? We probably he didn't want to play well and get beaten. Yeah. And I saw, but what I saw after the City game, I saw a difference in terms of there were some nervy moments, but we never looked like we was going to lose games. Because I said we weren't going to lose any games. I thought the West Ham game would be a draw. I thought that would be the one that we won't worry about the most. But nah, five wins, and at the end of the day, no matter how they won, at the end of the day, they won. You know what I mean? And that's the thing, because I'm not complaining. There were some games in the season that none of us liked, but at the end of the day, we've got over the line, and that's the main thing. I think Sunday, after that trophy lift and watching that Palace game, it was different because, like, with the Burnley game, I didn't think we were very good against Burnley, even though we had chances to put the game to bed. It was tense, but we as a side tend to play without pressure, play well without pressure, and Sunday was a big example of that. Yeah, if you saw how we played on Sunday, especially with the midfield. We looked so comfortable in midfield, and the through balls that we were seeing was like, wow, you know.
Yeah.
And hopefully that's what we're going to see next season. Well, I just feel going into the. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'll get into the trophy in a minute.
Yeah.
All I will say is that from what I've seen now, it's a different dynamic in terms of a few weeks ago. I said we've got no chance against PSG, but what I've seen now after that trophy lift, getting over the line, they're now mentally stronger because they now believe that they can actually win something big. They've already won the big prize, the biggest domestic prize.
Yeah.
Now they'll feel, you know what, we're full of confidence going into this, and I just feel like with that trophy lift, I was so pleased. Don't get me wrong, I was pleased for the entire squad and the manager, but you got to look at Saka first because he's been there from time. I was pleased for him finally getting over the line. You know, I was really pleased for him. I was probably pleased for Saka more than anyone else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because since the Emery era, he's worked hard for us. You know what I mean? He's been brilliant. We know he hasn't been at his best time season, but I feel now after this World Cup next season, we're going to see a world-class Saka in terms of in terms of not just what he normally does on that right-hand side, but he's an intelligent guy as well.
Yeah.
But I'm just so sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say. So, just do you agree with that, Mac? Do you agree with the fact that we've lifted that, the one that we really wanted, the one that we got really close to the last couple of seasons, that will reflect on the performance that we'll see on Saturday night, or what do you think, Matt?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Let's rewind back a little bit. So I think first of all, we've been incredibly disrespected this season. I think that has come through on a massive line. You kind of touched on it, but we've been so disrespected this season. The way they've talked about Saka, they've talked about the manager, they've talked about the team, and then obviously the whole bottler thing just built up steam. But everyone's saying we're the most hated team. We remember the whole nonsense about an asterisk next to it if we win the Premier League. I mean, the disrespect to a club of our size is just absolutely disgraceful. So that was the first thing I wanted to touch on. But our guys got through it, and obviously we won it. Now, look, at the end of the day, Brenny's talked about it already, that we moved away from attacking football, and we've talked about it extensively offline, that at the end of the day, we didn't play the best football. The best football we've actually played in was in Champions League. Yeah. So we played very, very boring football. We went for the 1-0 the Arsenal. That was fine. But the bottom line was that we got the trophy. And like you said, the relief, the fact that we had more people outside the stadium on a Tuesday night than actually fit into the stadium. The fact that the whole of Kenya shut down in Nairobi. The fact that Uganda completely shut down as well. The fact that worldwide, everywhere I look around the world, people are getting out their Arsenal shirts again and wearing them. You see all the kids, the rest of it. I think the main thing, just to really kind of encapsulate, is the relief. I think the relief for the players that they got over the line, then the relief for the fans that we can finally say we're over the line after 20 years. I think all these things are extremely important. I think it also changes the whole dynamic. And even Arteta touched on it. He said, look, the shirt is going to be worn differently now. And I think that's the same for everybody. We can wear it with pride. We can wear this thing with pride, knowing that we're the champions of England. And the players can wear it knowing that they've won the big one. And on the same points, Myad, which no one seems to have touched on, same points as Liverpool did last year. We finished exactly the same points, and we finished 7 points ahead of City. So it's very important that people while we talk about it, but people are aware of that no one's talking about the fact that even though Liverpool ran away with it last season, we finished on the same points as them. So that's I think makes a huge difference. I've seen the pictures of them getting on the plane. I think everyone's smiling. Everything. You just feel like they're going to go in there relaxed, and I think every game now is more relaxed. Now they know, we're here to stay. We're at the top of the tree. So I think in general, I think it's an extremely positive thing, and regardless of how we did it. And I'll talk about it when we play a Champions League game, but I think it's an extremely positive thing. And it's only going to make sure that we are continually at the top of the tree. All this talk about, they might drop off next year. It goes from that to, we're scared that they may stay up there for a long time. Depending on which journalist you talk to. But I think, honestly, the pure relief, especially for us who've been spoiled, as has been said. I'm much older than you guys. So not much, but, I saw 89. When that was the first one I remember, 91, 98, obviously 2002, 2004, most people remember. So, yeah, the relief is incredible. And the belief, the good football in their legs, to know that you're the champion will make a huge difference going forward, including on Saturday at 5 o'clock.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're both spot on this. I believe that we have got this one over the line. They're properly locked in now, because going in, what was the alternative? It would have been us going into this with nothing. With City chased us down. People would have thrown the amount of slander at us, saying that the biggest bottlers or whatever, and we would have gone into the Champions League final with massive pressure. And as Brenny said, you see what it's like. We're like with pressure. And to be fair, to close the season out like we have, all that talk about bottlers and pressure and stuff, that can be just thrown in the bin now, because I was annoyed that we conceded that goal against Palace, because I wanted us to finish off the league campaign with 5 wins and no goals conceded, because that would have been just like, what can you say to that? Oh yes, the goal was a soft goal, and they had another one ruled out for offside. But for me, no one can say anything now about Arsenal's mentality or getting it over the line. You only got to look at what City did. City have been talked up as being this team that's going to chase us down, and we kept saying they're not the same City. They're not the same team as before. But yet all the pundits or whatever, they didn't want to listen to that. They wanted to do the same stuff. They're still doing it now, listening to stuff online, on the radio and stuff. Even though I give it 2 minutes of my time, and they're chatting the same nonsense again, saying that we should have won the league because we spent so much money and we had the better squad. But there's no reference to what Chelsea have done in the spending that they've done for the last. Because they say, Arteta spent a billion in X amount of years, but how many years do you want to pull it back? If you pull it back another year, then other clubs have spent way more than us already. So it's still narratives and stuff all over the place. It just does my head in. But I agree. Pep
spent 2 billion, didn't he? In total, Pep spent 2 billion. We spent 1 billion. He spent 2, didn't he? Or 3, something like that. He spent definitely more than double what we spent.
Yeah, it's just nonsense, man. And getting this. Well, what we're going to talk about in a minute, getting it over the line is just going to be. It's just going to change so many narratives for so many people. It's going to be great to see. But just dropping into the chat. James said the best guest I've had on. Yeah, not talking about you two, unfortunately. He's talking about my kids. Sorry, guys. I don't know about that. Bit of a jab in the solar plexus there from James, even though he's done whatever. AFC James said, feeling optimistic. Yeah, and I am too. Neil's in the chat. How you doing, Neil? He's in the chat as well. And greet to my fellow champion. That's right. Yeah. And what's it saying? No one for official council congratulations. Yeah, well, that's what they're gonna do, isn't it? And Brian say great celebrations, but we definitely need to win on Saturday, so we can have a pep star montage of our achievements. Yeah. Neil saying rent free. Brian saying I think the shackles are off in our mentality, as we have nothing to fear anymore, regardless of the result of the weekend. This is a game that they should go out and enjoy. Yeah, it's a Champions League final. I guess it's kind of easier said than done. But you again, we've gone there. We've got the trophy. I wouldn't be surprised. If that Premier League trophy is in a case in the dressing room, and it's there ready to have the photos of both of them in the dressing room. There, they won't obviously take it out onto the pitch, but I'm pretty sure if we win that one, they will both be there in that dressing room, making the most of an historic moment. So, But James, so you actually finished a point above the Scouts. Yeah, so you finished. We actually got 1 point better off, but you don't hear anything about that after dropping $500 million. So it's funny, isn't it? How you don't hear stuff like that. They were closer in points to relegated West Ham than they were to us, but they'll all tell you it's a rubbish league and we scammed the title. Scouts is lecturing on robberies. There was nearly $500 million to go backwards, and James said, he's getting you back in his favour. I love Brenny and Mac as well, obviously.
Big up, man. Big up, James.
Big up.
Champions League 6, we thought we'd a favourite because of our boys are so hyped. Yeah, really excited about that, going to the screening with the kids. Already plotting an escape route if we win, obviously, because we will be going against the tide. Let's say we'll be heading back to Ashford, whereas everybody will be coming in to pass us. So let's hope it's not too crazy, but it's a happy crazy. So let's get into the preview, shall we? A chance. So Bukayo Saka was asked who does he want in the final. I think after we got in against Madrid, didn't he? And he kind of said to the person, who I want, and it was PSG after what happened last year. He hasn't got any beef with Bayern or anything like that. We kind of dealt with Bayern earlier in the season in this campaign, but yes, it is PSG, and as James would know, what's that Ric Flair saying? To be the man, you've got to beat the man. So we're in this situation where we are playing a team that people can't turn around and say if we do win it, you've played against a team that got lucky to get there, or a team that just winged it to the final. No, we're playing the holders. So you look at the stats like this. You look at what David Raya, obviously a much superior goalkeeper than this guy.
Saw him easily.
Yeah, saw him in the semi-finals, and I mean, you only got to look at the amount of goals he conceded in that. But I think just going over what we did last year, when you look at it, they had chances, but that second leg for me, the first 20 minutes of that second leg, we should have been 2, maybe even 3-0 up. Because we really came out at them and really put it on them. Yeah. We missed some gilt-edged chances, and then obviously we gave them the initiative. What's your thoughts, Brenny, about the actual lineup? Because there's rumours that not rumours. Timber's on the he's on the plane. He obviously they travelled this afternoon. The players. What would you do? What would your ideal lineup be? This is what we played on the left. Is what we played against Fulham. A lot of people are saying that's the best team that we played. Obviously, you've got Ben White there, so Ben White would come out, and it would be probably either Mosquera or Timber. But what would your lineup be against? This is the PSG side that played against Bayern in the first leg. Obviously, Hakimi looks like he's going to be fit. So he's going to be there at right back. But what's your thoughts on the lineup? Would you risk an 80% Timber instead of a Mosquera? Would you want to put it on him for give him 60-70 minutes against Kvaratskhelia, or what would you do?
No, you'd have to put him on the bench. I mean, Timber would have to be on the bench for me if he was 80% fit, and also I heard there was something about a game behind closed doors, something like that. But you know what? Looking at this lineup here for us, there's only 2. For me, it'd be Nketiah for Calafiori. This game I think would suit him, and I think he's been one of our best players this season. Nketiah. and Mosquera. It'll have to be Mosquera. It'll have to be Mosquera and Timber. Who knows if the game goes to the extra time? You'd need a bit of Timber up against maybe a tired Kvaratskhelia. But yeah, that would be my ideal lineup. That I don't think we'll see that lineup because you see with the manager as well. I've said the other night. I said the other night when I was live. I basically said, whoever the manager picks, everyone's got to show up. Everyone's got to put in 110%. Everyone's got to, you know, they can be not. You can't carry anyone, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't carry anyone. Everyone has to put in the shift, regardless. But I would love to see that lineup. But like I was on Big Up G Talks Arsenal. It's like he said yesterday. He said if he doesn't see the lineup that he wants to see, you know, it'd probably take about a minute thinking. But then we put our game face on. So that's the lineup I would go with. And for me, Mosquera as well. You're looking at. I mean, I think he's done very well for us this season. Centre back, right back. For me, it's if you're up against a bully, someone who like Kvaratskhelia, who, well, we know what he's about. Yeah, you definitely need him. It's a shame that Timber wasn't fit from weeks ago, because then he'd have been a starter, no doubt. But that would be my lineup.
So the one that's out on here, that will be a lineup with it. So it will be Eze instead of Odegaard.
Yes. Yeah.
And your lineup.
Lewis Skelly. Oh yeah, definitely. I think he could bully the likes, especially if he has a battle with Marquinhos, for example. I think he can win that battle. But Lewis Skelly in that centre midfield, oh my gosh! I mean, wow. You know, I think himself and Rice have an excellent understanding. There's telepathy there with the two, in my opinion. And he's playing where, and that's an academy kid, he's playing where he's always supposed to play. I mean, you know, I don't ever want to see him at left back again. I don't even want to see him in that 8.
Yeah. What you thinking, Matt?
Yeah, I'd change it. I'm afraid. So I think there's a few changes. I think Timber has to play, even if he's 80%.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because we've talked about it a bit as well offline, that even though Mosquera has had a good season, I don't think he's comfortable at right back. I think he struggles with he panics a lot. And you can't panic against probably the best left winger around. So I just think they'd rather risk him. Because the thing it comes down to is the player himself. Would he rather risk an injured, which is more than likely to happen, against in the Champions League, or save himself for the World Cup? I think he's more likely to do this, the Champions League, because obviously, you know, never won it before. Holland are not really in a strong position to win it this year, particularly World Cup. But I just think that the amount of time he's been off since March, I think that he's going to play at least a half. He's going to play. Yeah. Obviously, you'd want, if he was fully fit, Ben White to have a half, Timber to have a half. But I think he'll have a half, the first half, and then they'll take the lay of the land, and then maybe Mosquera on for the last half an hour. But I think that's definitely going to happen. I think at the back, I think he's going to go for Calafiori. I like Hincapié. You know how much I love the guy, but I think it's going to be Calafiori. So I think that needs to be swapped as well. I just think down that side, he needs someone with size. He's not the greatest defender, but we need someone who can take the ball forward. That's why Ben White would be perfect for this game as well. And I think that's what we need. I think he's not going to do 4-1-4, whatever you got there. I think it's going to be the usual 4-3-3. So I think Eze. I love Eze and I want him to play, but I just can't see him not letting Odegaard walk out. Sorry, I think you're gonna, and I think what he did. I think Lewis Skelly's going to get dropped, and I think Odegaard's going to come in.
Zubimendi will come in for him now.
Sorry?
Do you think Zubimendi will come in for Lewis Kelly then, or
I don't think Zubimendi will come in. No, I think his legs are shot. We saw that even for you talked about the goal. The goal was his and was the Kepa's fault, but ultimately Zubimendi didn't put any pressure on the ball. They know his legs are gone. I mean, he doesn't have his usual winter break, so he's not going to start. No chance. I don't know if he even gets in the pick, Zubimendi. So I think Odegaard will come in, and Odegaard will come in for Lewis Kelly. And I think also think that Havertz will come in for Gyökeres. I think Havertz has shown over and over again that he's the big game player. When you need a guy to score, as we saw when we needed it against Burnley, we needed it desperately. Guy just jumped and made it happen. So I just think that it's just not going to be any other way but Havertz. Havertz is clinical. He's calm under pressure. I think Odegaard's first touch is not great. He may get a half an hour, but I just don't see him starting. Not in a game like this. I think Havertz is a stronger player in the middle, kind of in that first initial defending. He does much more running in that kind of going forward. Because we'll talk about tactics in a minute, but I think it's definitely going to be, like you've done it. I think Odegaard, the four at the back, Rice, Eze, Odegaard, and then Havertz, Trossard, Saka.
Okay, cool. I'm just going to go jump into the chat. Brian saying we definitely have unfinished business. I do think there's some arrogance from PSG. We need to match them across all areas. I think Rowan Breeze will come in for Zierenberg. Yeah, possibly. I feel Odegaard should start. Brian said just everything Odegaard is over in the Rice. Just need our midfield to be as mobile as their midfield. Thanks for this comment as well. PSG got lots of the ball movement. Reason to be. And Odegaard needs to start. Hikapié also. Havertz, Trossard, Saka, all ball to feet players. You need even Martinelli to complement. Yeah, that's true because he's kind of gone the other way a lot with just playing all runners where he's played Martinelli, Madueke, and Gyökeres as a free, and it's never worked. It's only worked I think in one game in Europe, really enough, against Club Brugge, I think it was, and other than that, it's been a really really painful to watch. I think it's interesting. I definitely can see him starting Odegaard because there's a stat that I had a slide, but I didn't put it on. But there was a stat where PSG have had the most errors leading to goals or leading to chances from high pressures from the opposition. So basically, teams that press them high up do get some joy from winning the ball back in possession and then create chances. So in that regards, you are looking at definitely Odegaard playing because he is able to. He does that a lot.
Yeah,
he does that better than most. Really, he leads the press a lot. And then you're either thinking, Gyökeres. I think Gyökeres has definitely turned the corner in the last month or two in terms of just how he's able to keep the ball, hold the ball up, and he runs all day. So I think you could go with him as well. But then you also know Havertz can kind of do that as well, lead the press as well. So literally it's a toss of a coin. But again, if you think we need to be clinical, which we weren't in the semi-final last year, which cost us, who do you want to have those chances? Do you want it to be Gyökeres or do you want it to be Havertz? And you kind of think, if you want a chance to fall to someone, you rather it to be Gyökeres every day of the week. I can see Miles starting and Odegaard starting in midfield, I think, and then the rest, and then it's just a flip of a coin for centre forward. And Hikapié, yes, you probably would say go with Hikapié because defensively he's obviously more aggressive and up against Doué. But I don't know, I think he might go with Calafiori just because he just appears everywhere and he can disrupt a lot of what PSG do. But then obviously on the transition, we'll get in a lot of trouble if he's just left out.
This is it. Yeah, that's right.
So
he'll definitely leave a gap if he's, as you said, playing his midfield bits and pieces. So
yeah, it's going to be very very interesting. It's going to be a bit of chess. But I think we're gonna create chances. I think 100% we'll create chances. We just have to be, clinical. It's so easier said than done, isn't it? What's your prediction then, Brenny, for the actual final? How do you see this all playing out? You've seen so many finals in your time.
Yeah, man.
Play out?
And it's funny that, because if I'm not mistaken, I think we've played overall in our history. I think this will be maybe about our 9th European final, and we've only won 2. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, that we've not had, a great track record in Europe. Considering how big we are as a club, and despite everything, we are still the 3rd biggest club in England.
Yeah,
and I would. I said a few weeks. I said 3-1. It'll be 3-1 PSG. But if I'm looking at score, I think we'll fight. I think we'll create chances. But ultimately, I think it'd be 2-1 to PSG. I hope I'm wrong, but that's what I feel. And also, it's because I feel with regards to starting lineup, I don't think Mikel Arteta would start the lineup that I think, my lineup won't be his lineup. So I think that may have something to do with it, But I'm hoping I'm wrong. And if we do win, I think it'd be a penalty shootout.
Oof. Wow.
If we win, Brenny, you need to do a forfeit. you can't predict we lose. You need to do a forfeit.
No. I'm being real, because I rate them. They're PSG are a top side. Yes, they can be beaten on the day. And like I said, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just looking at it from form. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Premier League's lifted us, but I don't want to see. You see, the thing is, are we going to see what we've seen in the Champions League this season with the performances we put in? I'm not talking the last few rounds. I'm talking in the early stages. Are we going to see that type of football, or are we going to see a game like Burnley and West Ham where you're here and you're clutching, you're getting your blood pressure tablets and you're getting ready to drink some water with it? You see, that's what I don't want to see. So that's what worries me.
Yeah, I just think that because of the way PSG play and the way that they've got all those rotations, and they will leave gaps, and we will get chances to exploit them. Again, we just have to be clinical. They're not this side that are just gonna shut everyone out. I mean, okay, they did it against Bayern Munich. In a sense, they did. Obviously, they scored late on, didn't they? Kane got a consolation goal. But defensively, though, that was probably one of the most defensively sound performances I've seen from them in a while. But they still gave up loads of chances. People are just not clinical against them, and they've got a world class attacking unit. There's no beating around the bush with that. It is absolutely world class. But you've got the best defense. Everybody says which team do you give a chance against the PSG side, and it's us because of our defensive structure. I just think that with everything that's happened this last week and the weight that's off people's shoulders, I just think we're just going to get a few chances, and I think we're going to be clinical. But I'll go to you, Matt. What's your prediction, mate?
So first of all, I'll talk about tactics. So I think that the tactics at PSG may surprise people. I think, if anything, they would have looked at the way that teams that have beaten us, and they're going to take that line, the Bournemouths of the world, the Man United game, even City. But I think they're going to allow us to have possession. They're going to just sit back, just a bit like what they did with Bayern in the first half, and they're going to try and hit us on the break because they know that their wingers are some of the best in the business. And try and pick us off that, try and pick our back pocket that way. So that's how I see it. I think, let's be honest, the pace of their wingers is something that is, it's Martinelli speeds, isn't it? So I think once we understand that, obviously Rice is obviously incredible, I think he'll switch back to traditional sweeper and just try and soak it all up, try and protect the defenders. But that's how I see the game going. I see us bouncing the ball about Odegaard, pinging it here, there, and everywhere. And it's a question of whether, like you said, we're clinical. We definitely will have chance. 100% will have loads of chances to score. Just whether we can put on the back of the net. And the goalkeeper, which you just showed earlier, he's not the best in the business. He's not a Donnarumma. So we've definitely got chances to beat Saranov. That's the name of it. And as you said, by the Bayern game, he can be scored against. I even saw the game where obviously they were at Bayern, and the goal that Kane scored. I mean, he was nowhere near it. So I think that for tactics wise, they're gonna sit back. We're gonna be bouncing the bat, and then going to take it off us, and then pass it to one of the wings or get to Dembele. And obviously we know how clinical he is. So that's how I think it's going to go. I think for us on our side, we need to be testing the goalkeeper from distance, and trying to obviously get the rebound and hopefully knock it in the back of the net. Obviously, like you said, Gyökeres is good for that kind of stuff, just to pick those easy just knock-ins. But as far as the game itself, I think it's really about the tactics of the manager. That's why in many ways I put the manager at the back. The managers, how they set up is going to be the way that goes forward, and it's who they pick. As far as the game itself, I think it's going to be very, 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 very bitty at the start, very tetchy, very much feeling each other out for the first 10 minutes. I don't think anybody's going to go gun-ho because obviously it's big. Obviously, we're the underdogs, but we're relaxed. But they may feel a little bit of pressure to win it ultimately. And we know that in finals, don't necessarily always win it. Obviously, the World Champions game against Chelsea, they got embarrassed. So I think we have to just see things in the round. I think out of both teams that we could have played, I think PSG was definitely the better one than Bayern. I think Bayern would have probably might have done us because they've got a better all-round strength in the middle of the park. These guys rely on speed and pace and get to our box. That last quarter. We have the best defense of the business, and I think, to be honest, this is how I think it's going to go. I think it's going to be very bitty. I think we're going to go revert back to type, and we're going to go for set pieces. I think they're not going to beat us on set pieces. I think that Saka may score a screamer, do his usual from the right, cutting on the left, hit one in the back of the net. One of them will score. And then we'll score again from a set piece. I think we need to just get the balls as fast as we can to their box, try and nick that free kick or corner, and then have a go. And I think it's going to be, as has even been said there, I think 2-1 to us. It could be 2-1 either way, but I'm more inclined to go with us 2-1 because I just think that if they obviously Plenty scores first as well. If we score first and they come at us, that creates gaps, and we're just as good as them on the break. And we know how good Trossard is at putting the back of the net. So I'm going to go 2-1 with us, but I do think we're going to revert back to type and rely on set plays to get us over the line.
That's kind of how we got over the line in the league, isn't it? In a sense, we reverted back to our defensive structure, our solidity, and obviously, got. Obviously, the goal against Burnley, we got that from a set piece, wasn't it? Despite how bad they are. Then obviously thinks it's 2-1. I think this game could be decided within 90 minutes. As going to hope for a 2-1 win. Yeah, people go for 2-1. Brian thinks his goal at half time. I think the set piece factor will come to play, as I think we will frustrate them into mistakes. Hopefully. James said PSG have lost 9 games this season. 3 of those was 1-0. 1-0 to the Arsenal this weekend. Fingers crossed for me. Brian's got 2-1 to us. A lot of people saying Mikel Merino scoring that.
Mikel Merino might get a game, but he only get half an hour. He's only going to get half an hour, isn't he? And also, I don't think you can even look at the Palace game, like you said. Even though we lost it, Kepa was in goal. Virtually the second team were playing. Darman was out there, for crying out loud. I mean, he's an amazing talent, but he's never going to start a game of this magnitude. And Madueke was there. We've had our chats about him, that guy. So I just think, overall, we're in the best position really with our players to make it. If we can do, I never forget that one. I forget who they were playing, Chelsea, where Drogba was falling all over the place and just frustrated. I think it was Bayern they were playing, we kept falling over. If we do all of that kind of stuff, just upset, just break it up the play, just make it really difficult to get going and get 1-0 to the Arsenal. We'll take that. But I just think defensively, and the goalkeeper, I just can't see how we lose. But we might. But I just think we're going to make it more difficult than people think. We're going in as the underdog as well. Everyone remember that. Everyone's saying it.
Underdog.
Relax. If we lose, people expect it.
Yeah, do you think that's could go in our favour, Brenny? Like the fact that we are going to be going in there as underdogs. You know, obviously you say everyone's
that's right.
Everyone's glazing PSG, saying they're great and this and that, but they have weaknesses. But they are going in there as favourites, aren't they?
They do. And if we are to win this, I don't think it won't be on football alone, because I don't think we'll play. You know, we don't have. Well, it'd be nice to play good football to beat them, but I cannot see that. Because you cannot. I suppose you. Like Max said, you have to revert back to time. But what I don't want to see, and it winds me up every game, is when we're keeping the ball our own half for a good minute and a half, under no pressure, faffing about with the ball between the back five. I don't want to see that. I want to see movement, because at times this season the movement's not been great. Okay.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of that. And there's times where if we're on the counter attack, I want to see quick counter attacking. I don't want to see a counter attack where the opposition ends up getting back before we do. That's what I don't want to see. If there's none of that, then we got a great chance.
Yeah. I do think it's going to be. It's going to be one. I think it's going to be one down their left hand side. I think Hakimi. He's kind of almost seems like they're in the same boat as a Timber situation. I don't think he's fit.
No.
So if they chuck him in, there could be in a similar situation where they're relying on this guy dialing into his normal way of playing, which is doing this madness, going up and down. And I think this is where this area here, whether it's Trossard, whoever, I think this is the area where we're gonna have to capitalise, because. You know, Saka's got Mendes, and Mendes is a top player. I just think this is the area we're going to capitalise, and it's depending on who's going to be playing in this area. I don't think it's going to be Eze. I think it's going to be either it's going to be Miles or possibly Zubimendi. I'm not sure, but I think if they do go for Hakimi, I don't think he's going to be match fit. And they're going to expect him to do what he normally does, which is just going wandering a little bit like what Calafiori does. So I think that's the area where a mistake or gap's going to appear or whatever, where whoever it is, it could be Rice maybe bursting in there, or if it is Gyökeres on the shoulder here, off of Marquinhos. So I think we'll get chances, and I think it's because like we said, it's because PSG are going to try and show. They're going to want to kind of show people as well that we're the top dogs. We're the champions. We're we're favourites. We're going to show you, and maybe that might work against them. So let's see. Brian saying definitely got to adopt school.
Dembele's not got it for either, is he? I mean, he's fit, and as in fit.
Yeah, as well.
We don't know how, he's not really like on top form because he was off injured. And they may have given him an injection or whatever, but I don't think that he's fully fit and it won't be as clinical. And we got to remember that how many times did someone want it back to back? It's only Real Madrid I can think of.
Yeah, only Real Madrid, I think. Of the modern, of the Champions League, of the Champions League.
In the Champions League era.
Yeah, Champions League era. It's only Madrid, isn't it? They won it 3 times already. Was it Zidane? Wasn't it? When Zidane?
Sorry, sorry. I'm very old school with that because I was 1989 and 1990. That's what I'm thinking. You see, it's like if you talk Premier League, I'm talking First Division as well. When I'm talking top 5,
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's just me. That's just me.
Yeah. But no, it's gonna be interesting. 90 minutes away from as an historic or probably the greatest season in Arsenal's history. Some people are saying, if we win both, that's a discussion to have if and when it happens, hopefully. But yeah, it'll be an exciting time. It's great to be, sitting at the top table again in a game of this magnitude with everybody's watching our club, watching Arsenal Football Club, as champions. Last time we got there in 06, we just managed to scrape in at fourth, didn't we, on the final day of the season at the expense of those lot down the road, thanks to that bad case of lasagna they had. So we didn't go in there as champions. We didn't go in there with our chest out. We will be on Saturday. So it could have a different mindset of the way we play and the way we approach the game to show people how good we are. So fingers crossed that is the case. We'll be back afterwards. I'll be going to the game, to the screening. Sorry, not the game, to the screening. My wife's going to the game. Unbelievably, she's going to Budapest, and she's working out there, going to watch the game and everything. So, I've got the kids again, as you saw at the start of the show, running around the house, doing madness. But yeah, we'll be going to the screening at the Emirates, and I'm going to try and capture it with a little kind of vlog type thing, and then put it out there afterwards, and see how that lands, and then obviously have a review of the season, have some kind of awards going on as well, and then maybe talk about a couple of transfers, what are bubbling along, which is exciting, hopefully, strengthening in a position of strength. But no, thank you so much.
Did you hear Josh Kroenke about Arteta before you cap it off? About that, it's his priority to get Arteta signed up long term, because we already knew that once he gets to Premier League, he's going to get 5 years. But from the sound of it, they're talking about creating a dynasty.
Yeah,
this guy basically, if he wins on Saturday, I have a feeling, I've felt for a while now, the way that they like this kind of scenario. If he wins the Champions League, he may be here for a good decade, or more.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think you're right. I think as well, Brenny. We've kind of said before. I don't think KSC realised. Again, I've said it. I don't think they realise how big the club is, because they would have seen the scenes from Tuesday, and as you mentioned, Matt, across the world. In Africa, all over the world, how massively you can't get anything from the shop. You've got 3 hours to get into the Arsenal in the Arbory. It's crazy, and that's just off of one title. Imagine if we win the Champions League. Imagine if we go back to back. The global footprint of this club is just it's crazy. It's insane. It's right up there with the likes of Madrid's and the Barcelonas, because obviously everyone knows Barcelona, knows Real Madrid. You see the shirts wherever you go on holiday. You see those shirts. Now you're going to start seeing Arsenal shirts everywhere you go. Everywhere you go, in the country. So, it's exciting times, and I think you're right. If he gets backed and we're successful, why would he go anywhere else? Unless he just gets bored and thinks, oh, you know what, I want to go back to Barcelona. I think that's probably what he's going to want to do. In a few years.
I just think his son's in the academy. I just think everything just seems to line up with him staying. And the Barcelona managers anyway just got a new contract, Flick. So I just can't see it going any other way. But the way they talk about as well, I think about their other team, the Kroenkes. They got the LA Rams. Their guy won the Super Bowl. And he won it years ago, but he's still there. They love stability. They know they got a guy who's, as someone just said there, a beast, just a complete animal, and just wants to just force people to get better and better, no matter how good they are. As long as they're
making money. I think it's about making money, and with all their franchises, as long as they're making the money, it's all good as well. I find.
How much money they've made for the Champions League? What, 200 million? How much money have they made for the Premier League? Probably the same. From finishing top, plus other rankings. I mean, they've made more money than they probably ever made in a year with us, and hopefully some transfers in and out. So yeah, I just can't see Arteta going anywhere for a very, very, very long time. I just think the model he's brought in, I mean, it just and he's Arsenal through and through ultimately, because he obviously was our captain. So I just don't see any other way. And hopefully they make good on their promise about turning our stadium into the Sophie. That'd be incredible.
Yeah, but how do they do that? They're gonna. I think he said that he's got people working on the renovations and working on plans of what they're going to do, and they were the same people that worked on doing the stuff at the SoFi as well. So I think that's just going to basically mean us going to Wembley for a couple of years, because then that will keep the revenue going in. Because if you knock a stand out or whatever like that, then what's that going to do? That's just going to hit the revenues, isn't it? So I think they need to go somewhere where they're going to, you go to Wembley, you get 90,000 in, you take 20% or whatever that off of that to give back to Wembley. You're still making stupid amounts of money, aren't you? All you've got to do is have some pop-up Arsenal merch stalls dotted all around it. You can have as many as you want, and then they'll be making money hand over fist. So yeah, we could talk about that in the summer. But gents, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it. Special times to be an Arsenal fan. It's 22 years, and it's great to see so many people squirming now or silent. There's a lot of group chats that have been very, very silent all of a sudden. lots of tumbleweed going through for some reason. But yeah, I do like to blow it up and just throw a little sticker in, of someone holding, an Arsenal player holding the trophy and stuff like that, just to keep, show that there's still life. There's a pulse in there still. I recommend everybody do that. It's good to check on your fellow football supporters. Just to know that they're being thought of as well. But
so true, man. You know what I mean? It's I agree, because there's been a few salty Liverpool fans that I've seen and some Tottenham fans, and I just say to them, I say, listen, man, when you get that portion of chips, man, just put vinegar in it, because you can put your head in it before you salt. You know what I'm saying? Seriously.
Brilliant.
Brilliant. Thank you, Brenny. Really appreciate your time, man. I really love you coming on. You can catch Brenny. He's got his brilliant channel, Brenny K74. He does lineup predictions, lineup reactions. Previews and reviews, and he's a dangerous quiz master as well, because he is the Arsenal oracle. Like I said, if they made the Matrix version of football, he'll be there making cookies and blowing everyone's minds with all his knowledge and everything. So
I'll be doing some quizzes over the course, and I'll be covering the World Cup as well. So we're doing some World Cup chats as well. And hopefully I'm trying to get a few people on from represent their respective countries. So hopefully I'll be getting them on as well. So it should be fun.
Yeah, good stuff, man. Really, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much, brother. And obviously, Mac as well. Thanks for your time as well, man. Really appreciate you. Great takes as well. Thanks for everyone that's been in the chat as well. Just got a couple more from James. Thank you very much. You'll be back on the show again soon, as will Neil. How you do? Thanks, Neil, and Brian and everyone else. Thanks for all your comments. So this time next week, we could be champions of Europe. Sounds nice, don't it? Let's hope it all goes well. It's been, whatever happens, it's been an amazing achievement from the team to get up the mountain, and this is what it's all about. We're right at the top again. We're top of the table. In the big showpiece game. Like, everyone's got eyes on us. Let's do it. Thank you, gents. Thanks everyone for watching, and come on, you Gunners.
There you go.